Last week we had the big topic on Orlando Brown Jr. probably, wanting to be the highest paid left tackle. He didn't have an agent yet. I think a day or two after our show, he ended up signing his agent, Michael Portner, I think his name is, a young guy. But anyway, last 2 days, they've kind of made the media rounds talking about how they do both see Orlando Brown's on NFL Network, talking about how he sees himself getting the working on a deal and getting that by the July 15th deadline. And then Michael Portner is also telling people that he says it's going to be close, but they feel like they will get a deal done by the July 15th deadline.
But I know, Orlando, the goal is always to get a multi-year deal, done. You have until July 15th to do that. What's your confidence level right now that that will get done?
Very confident, man, especially simply based off the things that have come into effect within our division, man, the type of defensive ends that have been brought in, the type of players and all of that type of stuff, man. It's not the year to go into a season with a backup left tackle. So, I'm very confident that the Kansas City Chiefs will get that done.
A lot of people were kind of questioning on it because usually Brett Veach kind of does a lot of things close to his vest. He doesn't really let a lot of stuff leak. And if that's leaking like that, and if Orlando Brown's so confident to say that, do you think they're very close on it? They already have like a number in mind. I mean, what do you think about that when stuff like that's getting released by the people themselves that there is going to be a deal done?
I mean, you want to be, show a lot of confidence in that. These things are working in the right direction, and where Brett Veach may want to keep it closer to his chest. Part of Orlando Brown's team, what he's supposed to do is like, hey, put some things out there, right? To instill confidence. Like, hey, look, man, look, he wants to be here. He wants to be here during camp. He don't want to miss any days. So we don't want to make it seem like, he's being too greedy. He's not willing to work. We're sitting there saying like, look, we're contacting the Chiefs every single day to hash out all the details. So sometimes in the contract negotiations, it takes some time because you got to get to when I'm talking about just the wording. You talk about different incentives. You talk about, what their expectations of him, of what he's going to be able to do. And so it does take time. So July the 15th, I don't think it's something like that is impossible. I think, matter of fact, if they get on top of which I'm sure it's high priority. Matter of fact, it's probably the number one priority right now to get him, here so he can protect Pat, bottom line. I think, without a doubt, I'm confident in that date. I think they can get something done. I don't know. And here's the thing with negotiations. We just don't know how close or how far they are as far as with number-wise. But I think they kind of knew, like going into, look, first off, you franchise tag it, okay? So you already know what you're working with, right? And so that in itself helps out with the negotiation because you're going to be close because, look, we already started here. We know we're going to get this anyway with the franchise tag. Mm-hmm. So after that, look, let's go ahead and start working. What we want to do, we want to make him, relatively one of the highest paid tackles in the league. And so I don't know if he'll get the top money for tackles, but I do know he's going to be somewhere close to it. Yeah. And so I just know he's going to take advantage of the timing that he has, right? Because he's the man here. Mm-hmm. And so we know that it's going to be a big hole to try to fill if he's not here for Patrick. So in a sense, he's got that leverage going for him. I mean, seriously, he's a huge piece what the Chiefs do as far as like protecting Patrick and the running backs and whatnot. So that right there in itself bodes well for him and his agent to definitely push to get this deal done ahead. So
yeah, and I think when we talked about last week, I think that he saw the defensive ends that were getting signed by all the other teams in the AFC West, and he immediately knew, okay, my value is just skyrocketed because of who we're going against, because of who the other team signed. So I think he definitely knew that. Do you think? I mean, I don't know anything about having an agent here, but when you sign a new agent like that, I mean, how is there a rapport involved as far as like, hey, like I want this deal, is it pretty like, hey, like I give you a paper, I'm saying, hey, this is what I want from them. Is it that easy working with a new agent like that to go and jump and try to get a new deal just like that?
I think so. I mean, agents, they know what they're working for. They work for you. And so Orlando Brown knows he knows exactly what he wants. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what he wants to achieve. And so he's conveying that with his agent. And his agent's like, oh yeah, absolutely, everything you want, we'll go for it. You need this here, sure. If you want some extra Gatorades at your house, we'll make it so, right? If you want some extra ice cubes in your water for the game, we're gonna make sure we're gonna put that in the contract too.
Yep.
And so that's it. The agents work for you, and so once you give that information to him, hey, he runs with it. So the guy that I kind of looked into him. He's a young guy, started his own group. So I think that's going to be kind of what I'm a little inquisitive about, like how's this thing going to go? Like, because if you don't really have a lot of experience, I don't know. I know he said he just got through law school. Maybe he's trying to go get some more, and he's doing some more schooling now. This is going to be the biggie for him. So I don't know, man. So hopefully everything works well in both parties' favor. Put it that way.
It's gonna be a big payday for him, though. He just walks in right in that situation. We know Veach wants to pay him a lot of money anyway, so it's gonna be a big payday for that youngster.
Oh man, I know it. Hey, look, that joker's smiling ear to ear right now. When he got that phone call, absolutely. What? This is who? Yeah. He probably had to check his phone 2 or 3 different times. He probably called everybody like, man, you can not believe who I'm working for, who I'm the agent of. But he got going in confident. He's got to act like he's been there before. So when you go in and you're dealing with, really strategic people as far as like what they do. And look, we always said Brett Veach is frugal, right? And so he's got to work through those things. And it's going to be some tough negotiations, man. But I don't know. Let's see if we can do it, man. See if we can pull it off. And like I said, work in favor of both parties. And so, look, I think everybody wants the deal to get done. I know everybody has their opinion about, what he'll get paid and what he should get paid if he's not a great tackler. We're not going to minimize what his contribution is to the team, and how important he is, because the guy is really important. So, he's a Pro Bowl tackle. What are you going to say? He's young. So let's benefit from a guy right now. Like I said, if you get the deal done now, you don't have to worry about that big price tag later on down the road, because when you start getting down the road, you're going to see how these things go. And we'll talk about it a little bit, like we see how Aaron Donald, these contracts are starting to go up. We are seeing guys get paid a whole lot of money. Yep. So, bite the bullet now or, wait till later.
Yeah. We were ahead of the game with the whole quarterback situation. We did that deal with Mahomes, and after that, we raised the bar for everybody. Now everyone's paying their quarterbacks a lot of money, and we're the ones who started that. And now we're kind of the victims of it with when you got what happened with Tyreek, and now possibly what happens with Donald. But we'll talk about that later on.
Look, it's how these things go. It's exactly how these things go. And so the question is, you pay a guy like this now, or do you wait? You wait to try to get somebody free agency, and he comes in, he's still going to try to get a hefty price tag because he knows who you're protecting, he knows who you're going against, or you try to get a guy in the draft, which is just, that's a crapshoot. Trying to get a pro guy out there right now to tackle. Yeah. Those guys don't grow on trees, man. You don't see them guys everywhere in the supermarket. So, hold on.
Well, I remember the 2013 draft when we had the number 1 pick, and no one knew what we were going to do. And I remember there was 3 tackles. Everyone was kind of like, like Luke Jokel. Everyone was like, that's the best left tackle in the draft. Then Eric Fisher was like, oh, well, maybe that Eric Fisher's the guy. And then Lane Johnson. And I'll give credit. Lane Johnson and Eric Fisher both panned out, and they've lasted this a while. Maybe not number 1 pick worthy, but like, hey, he's in the league, and it's been almost 10 years now. So I mean, he panned out. Luke Jokel, I don't think lasted that long. And he was kind of gone after that first go around with Jacksonville. I mean, really? So not everyone pans out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like we said, and when I read 5 to 6 year deals, what they're leaning on this whole thing. That's potentially what this will be. So and maybe higher in the guarantees, maybe not overall highest paid contract, but may have the highest guarantee of any left tackle.
Yeah, man. I mean, you definitely got to make it somewhat desirable and tasty for them to say, you know what, okay, we could deal with this. Yeah. I'm fine with that, right? I mean, there's when you can hide money, to get money to him. So, like I said, this guy's this is his first big contract. We'll see how he's going to do.
Yeah. What's funny too, you have these Chief fans who were pissed off. I remember at the time we offered a lot of money to go get Trent Williams, and then he ended up at the 25th hour. He said, "No, I'm staying with San Francisco." And I remember seeing some Chief fans. It's like, wow, we were going to give him this 30-year-old left tackle at the time, a 3 or 4 year deal. No way, all that money. And now we're talking about a 26-year-old guy who we're going to give a lot of money to over a 6-year span. And by the time he's done with that contract, about 31, 32, he'll be an older guy at that point. So it's like some people are never going to be happy with, and especially in Chiefs Kingdom, you're just so many people who are upset about everything all the time. So it's like, can't keep everyone happy.
Right. Hey man, look, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And I get it. Sometimes when you pay these big contracts, the same thing that we talked about first round picks, they don't always pan out, right? So when you sit there and you look at it and the guy's not performing for that type of money, then you kind of, you're pulling your hair out, you're upset and they're like, man, it's stupid. Why we do that?
Yeah.
We got a sample size what he was able to do last year, which was a good job. He did a good job. Now, like I said, I think he's going to get better this year. Just being there, it just took a long time for the transition from going to right to left.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine this year, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him work out this offseason. It looks like he shed some weight, doing the tennis drills, trying to work on that feet. And and that's huge because we're talking about edge rushers, especially the guys in our division. It's huge that he's working on these things. So it's not like he's sitting at home. We're not seeing these of him working out. We're seeing him do it before this big contract. So, hey, the kid's young, so I'm all for it too.
I would be a little bit concerned if we seen him in videos eating cake.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I don't know. We won't do that. So it's good. Promising. It's good
for sure. And also a son of a player too. So I mean, the kid knows what it takes.
Yeah.
Hi everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.